This video is introduction to fractions. I'm going to show you what fraction is, and I'm going to show you some properties. So fraction represents a part of a whole number. For example, 1/5 means 1 part out of 5. And if you want to visualize it, we have to draw a line and we have to divide it in 5 equal parts. 5. And just this one part is called 1/5. One is called numerator, and 5 is called denominator. For example, we can also have fraction 2/5. And if you want to visualize that, again we have to draw a line. We have to divide it into 5 equal parts, and 2/5 is 2 parts out of 5. So this and this together represents 2/5. And the first property of a fraction is, if you have a fraction a over b and you multiply numerator and denominator by the same non-zero number, then the fraction stays the same. The property says multiplying numerator and denominator of a fraction by the same non-zero number doesn't change the fraction. And for example, you have a fraction 1/2, and if we multiply the top part by 2 and the bottom by 2, we have 1/2 is equal to 2/4. And to see that, we can also draw a picture. So 1/2 is this part right here is 1/2, and 2/4, again, to show 2/4 we have to divide our unit in 4 equal parts, and 2/4 will be right here. This is 1/4 and this is 2/4, and you can see that 1/2 is actually exactly the same as 2/4. Such fractions are called equivalent fractions. So 1/2 and 2/4 are equivalent. The same property could be applied different, and I'm going to show you how. For example, we have fraction 4/6. So you might notice that 4 and 6 have a common factor, and the greatest common factor is 2. That means 4 could be written as a product of 2 times 2, and 6 could be written as a product of 3 times 2. And now we see that 4/6 is actually the same as 2/3, and we say that we cancel factor 2. This is called writing a fraction in the lowest term. That means that numerator and denominator have no common factors. Or same thing as to say greatest common factor of numerator and denominator is equal to 1. Now I'm going to show you how to do a couple examples. First one will be given fraction 5/8, and we have to find the equivalent fraction that has denominator 32. So first thing we're going to notice is that 32 is a multiple of 8, and 32 is actually equal to 4 times 8. So now we're going to look at this number 4, and we're going to notice that if I take a fraction 5/8 and I multiply top and bottom by this number, I get a fraction 20/32, which has denominator 32 and is equivalent to our given fraction 5/8. So remember, if you need to multiply your denominator by some number, that means you have to multiply your numerator by the same number at the same time. So let's do the next example. Let's say we have a fraction 24/60, and we need to write this fraction in the lowest terms. So first of all, we have to notice that 24 and 60 have something in common. If you're familiar with greatest common factor and you see it right away, it is 12. If you don't see it right away, that means we have to do the prime factorization, and let's just do it real quick. 24 is same as 6 times 4, 6 is same as 2 times 3, 4 is same as 2 times 2, and 60 is same as 4 times 15, 4 is same 2 times 2, 15 is same as 3 times 5. So I'm going to write the prime factorization instead of numerator and denominator. So instead of 24, I'm going to write 2 times 2 times 2 times 3, and instead of denominator, I'm going to write 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. Now we clearly see what they have in common. So they have 2 in common, they have another factor 2, and they have a factor 3 in common. So just notice that altogether 2 times 2 times 3 is equal to the greatest common factor, which is 12. And what's left? What's left is 2/5. And again, 2/5 is equivalent fraction to 24/60. 2/5 also written in lowest terms because the greatest common factor of 2 and 5 is equal to 1. So now we know what fractions are, we know how to work with them, we know the basic property that we can multiply top and bottom by the same number, and we know how to simplify a fraction.